On July 13, 2024, the small town of Butler, Pennsylvania, became the epicenter of national attention. A political rally, headlined by former President Donald Trump, drew thousands of supporters from across the region. The air was thick with anticipation and excitement as people poured into the open field, eager to witness history in the making. For many, this was more than just a campaign stop. It was a chance to be part of a movement, to stand shoulder to shoulder with fellow believers, and to show unwavering support for their candidate. Flags waved high above the crowd, red MAGA hats dotted the sea of faces, and chants of USA, USA echoed across the grounds. The energy was palpable, a mix of hope, pride, and determination. Supporters cheered, sang, and celebrated, creating an atmosphere that felt almost like a festival. Yet beneath the surface there was an undercurrent of tension, a sense that something was different about this day. While the crowd reveled in the moment, a deadly threat quietly lurked. Some faces in the crowd betrayed anxiety, and security teams moved with heightened alertness, scanning every corner for signs of trouble. The Secret Service, responsible for safeguarding Trump, was under immense pressure. The relentless pace of the campaign season had stretched their resources thin, forcing agents to work long hours and cover more ground than ever before. Every rally brought new challenges, and this one was no exception. Amidst the sea of supporters, Thomas Matthew Crooks, a 20-year-old with a rifle, managed to slip into a position of deadly advantage. He found his way onto a nearby rooftop, giving him a clear line of sight over the crowd and the stage. This rooftop, shockingly, was a critical blind spot in the security perimeter. The oversight created a vulnerability with catastrophic potential, one that would soon have devastating consequences. As the rally kicked off, a complex web of law enforcement agencies was supposed to work in perfect harmony. Local police, state troopers, and federal agents all had roles to play, each relying on the other to keep the event safe. But behind the scenes, communication was breaking down. Conflicting reports, missed signals, and mishandled intelligence created confusion at the worst possible moment. In the blink of an eye, the rally's festive spirit was shattered. Panic swept through the crowd as the reality of the threat became clear, transforming a day of political theater into a scene of chaos and tragedy. The very system designed to protect the nation's leaders was faltering. A crucial piece of intelligence, one that could have prevented disaster, was about to slip through the cracks. For those in attendance, the rally was meant to be a celebration, a moment of unity and hope. But as the minutes ticked by, the sense of impending danger grew, unnoticed by most. The stage was set for a catastrophic failure in security, one that would test the resolve of everyone present and leave a mark on the nation's memory. In the aftermath, the consequences of that day would ripple far beyond Butler, Pennsylvania, forever changing the lives of those who were there and the course of the campaign itself. As Donald Trump stepped onto the stage that day, the air was electric with excitement. Supporters cheered, waving flags and holding up signs, their voices merging into a single thunderous applause. But beneath the surface of this festive atmosphere, an unseen threat was quietly taking shape. High above the crowd, Thomas Crooks, concealed on a nearby rooftop, methodically prepared his rifle. He had chosen his vantage point carefully, blending into the background as the rally unfolded below. With chilling precision, Crooks took aim and fired, sending shockwaves through the gathering. In an instant, the mood shifted. The crowd's confusion gave way to panic as the sound of gunfire echoed across the open field. People screamed and scrambled for cover, the joyous energy replaced by fear and chaos. On stage, Trump was grazed by a bullet. Reacting in a split second, he ducked behind the podium as Secret Service agents rushed to his side, forming a human shield around him. Their training and quick thinking likely saved his life as they worked to get him to safety. Amid the chaos, tragedy struck. Corey Comparatore, a former fire chief attending the rally with his family, was fatally shot while trying to protect those around him. 2 others were critically wounded, their lives forever changed in a matter of seconds. As the crowd scattered, a Secret Service counter-sniper stationed nearby quickly located Crooks. With a single decisive shot, the agent neutralized the shooter, ending the immediate threat and preventing further bloodshed. The entire attack lasted only seconds, but its impact was immediate and profound. News of the shooting spread rapidly, leaving the nation in shock and raising urgent questions about the security of public events. Law enforcement and first responders rushed to the scene, tending to the wounded and securing the area. Trump was quickly evacuated under heavy guard as authorities worked to restore order amid the chaos. The rally field, once filled with celebration and hope, was now transformed into a somber scene. Emergency lights flashed across the empty grounds and the echoes of panic lingered in the air. As the dust settled, investigators from the FBI and local law enforcement began combing the site for evidence. The investigation into how such a breach could occur was just beginning, with many questions still unanswered. The attack exposed significant vulnerabilities in the security measures that were meant to protect both the candidate and the public. Experts began analyzing every detail, from the placement of security checkpoints to the surveillance of nearby buildings. The incident marked one of the most serious breaches in recent presidential security history, prompting immediate calls for a thorough review of protocols and procedures. In the aftermath, emotions ran high, relief that more lives weren't lost mixed with horror at what had transpired. Families and friends comforted each other, struggling to process the trauma of the day. Across the country, Americans grappled with the implications of the attack. The flag flew at half-mast, and conversations turned to how such a tragedy could be prevented in the future. Investigators worked tirelessly, piecing together the events leading up to the shooting. Their goal, to understand how the shooter evaded detection and to ensure it could never happen again. The attack underscored the urgent need for improved security protocols at political events. Authorities began implementing new measures, determined to restore public confidence and protect future gatherings. The tragic events of that day left a deep and lasting impact on the nation, its leaders, and all who witnessed it. As the country mourned, a renewed commitment to safety and vigilance emerged, shaping the future of public life in America. The investigation revealed a catastrophic communication breakdown, one that would have far-reaching consequences for the safety of everyone involved. As officials pieced together the timeline, it became clear that vital information had slipped through the cracks at multiple levels. Vital intelligence about a suspicious individual was lost in bureaucratic channels, buried under layers of paperwork and miscommunication. The warning signs were there, but they were missed or ignored as the message was passed from one office to another. A tip about a potential sniper threat never reached those who needed it most. Officers on the ground, tasked with protecting the rally, were left in the dark, unaware of the looming danger that was rapidly approaching. The Secret Service agent who received the tip failed to act decisively, leaving Trump and countless others vulnerable. Instead of escalating the warning, the agent hesitated, unsure of the proper protocol in a moment when every second counted. The Senate committee identified this failure as a key contributor to the security breakdown. Lawmakers pressed for answers, demanding to know how such a critical lapse could have occurred despite the resources and training in place. The agent was unaware of a separate command post, highlighting systemic issues that went far beyond individual mistakes. The lack of coordination between teams created confusion and delayed the response at a crucial moment. The lack of communication created dangerous blind spots, both literally and figuratively. Security teams were unable to see the full picture, leaving gaps in the protective perimeter that could be exploited. The protective shield was a patchwork, not a unified barrier. Different agencies operated independently, with little sharing of information or resources, making it nearly impossible to mount a coordinated defense. The incident exposed deep flaws in the security apparatus, shaking the confidence of both the public and those tasked with protection. It was a wake-up call that things needed to change. The need for a cohesive communication strategy was clear. Only by learning from these mistakes and building stronger lines of communication could future tragedies be prevented. Resource denials weakened the security posture long before the rally. Requests for essential equipment were ignored, leaving agents ill-equipped. The lack of resources directly impacted the day of the shooting. Secret Service Director Kimberly Cheadle's false testimony further eroded trust. The Senate report exposed a disconnect between leadership and field agents. The denial of resources highlighted systemic issues within the agency. The need for adequate support and resources was critical. The Senate report was a scathing indictment of the Secret Service. It detailed preventable failures and systemic problems within the agency. The report highlighted tactical mistakes and poor communication. The agency's leadership was criticized for complacency and resistance to change. The report called for significant reforms in training, technology, and leadership. The goal was to prevent a repeat of the Butler incident. The The report served as a wake-up call for the agency. Accountability was paramount after the security failure. Disciplinary actions were criticized as too lenient. The agent who failed to relay the tip was not disciplined. Director Kimberly Cheadle's resignation highlighted leadership issues. The debate over accountability underscored systemic problems. True reform required more than individual punishment. The agency needed systemic changes to prevent future failures. The Secret Service embarked on reforms to address systemic weaknesses. New communication protocols were implemented to prevent information breakdowns. Mobile command posts were deployed for unified security communications. Investments in technology like drones enhanced surveillance capabilities. Counter-sniper capabilities were bolstered to secure open-air venues. By July 2025, the agency initiated 37 reform measures. Director Sean Curran affirmed substantive reforms were in place. The changes aimed to build a stronger protective shield. The hope was to prevent future tragedies. The agency's commitment to reform was clear. Despite reforms, long-standing challenges persist for the Secret Service. The agency struggles with under-resourcing and overworked personnel. Staffing levels have decreased, while demands have grown. The political climate has increased threats against public figures. Reports have long identified the need for more resources and training. The Butler shooting highlighted the consequences of neglect. Sustained investment is crucial for the agency's mission. The story serves as a cautionary tale of institutional neglect. The agency's success depends on long-term support. The safety of leaders and democracy relies on a well-equipped Secret Service.